Hi there, this is Cooking Healthy with Coastline, and I'm registered dietitian Ashley Wewell. Today I am going to be making a beautiful green salad that is going to be perfect for springtime. We are going to be using a few different ingredients that you may already have in your pantry, such as frozen peas and some lemon, and then also some fresh in-season ingredients like asparagus, snow peas, and romaine. So our salad today is going to be packed with fiber from our asparagus and our peas, which are going to be great for keeping you nice and full during these warmer temperatures. This salad can be a great addition to any barbecue that you may be going to now that the weather is getting nicer, or it could just be a nice addition to your everyday dinner with grilled chicken or grilled fish. But we'll get on started. So we already have a large pot of boiling water ready to go. So really the salad is going to come together relatively quickly. We are just going to be blanching our vegetables. So blanching just means that we're putting it into boiling water for about 30 seconds up to, or maybe about a minute, depending on the vegetable. You're going to let it boil for just a little bit, and then we're going to throw it right into an ice bath to stop that cooking process. So our vegetables are still going to be a little crunchy, which is a nice texture, but then we'll still have like that cooked element to it, so it's not all raw. So we have our snow peas here, and we're going to be taking about a half of a cup or about a handful. Really, it depends on how many snow peas you would like. You know, kind of just going with what you feel is comfortable for you. I tend to like a lot of peas, so we'll just throw in about a half a cup roughly. So again, these snow peas are gonna be in there for about a minute and 30 seconds. So we'll let them do their thing and just give them a little bit of a stir. And the nice thing about this salad is that as the vegetables begin to cook, they'll get more vibrant in color. So the greener it looks, the closer you are to your time. So you don't have to set a timer for a minute and a half if you don't have one, or if you want to just be a little more lax in your cooking, this is totally fine. So while the snow peas are going to be in there, we'll get started on our asparagus. For this recipe, you want about a larger bunch of asparagus. So if you go to the grocery store, asparagus can either be nice and thick like these that we have here, or they tend to be on the thinner side. So really it just depends on what your grocery store does have. So since our asparagus is a little bit larger, we don't have to use as many. So we're going to use about 20 stalks or 24 stalks altogether. So asparagus is relatively easy to prep, as you know. We're just going to snap it, and that's where you kind of want to base where you're going to cut your asparagus. So we'll do that with a couple of them. And then from there, we'll line them up and just give it like a rough chop just to get those hard ends off. So we'll give those a toss into the trash. And that's really it. We're going to throw them right into our boiling water. And be careful here. Don't want to hurt yourself. So again, those are going to be boiling for another minute and 30 seconds. This guy didn't make it in, so we'll throw him in there. And asparagus is really a great vegetable to include in your everyday diet. It is high in antioxidants, so it does, have a lot of those beneficial vitamins and nutrients in it that can help to prevent a lot of diseases such as heart disease. Again, and it's also packed with fiber, which can help to with your blood sugar management if that's a concern of yours. So we have our snow peas and our asparagus going. Again, it's going to be about a total of about 3.5 minutes once we have everything in there. Let those guys go. And then our final item that we're going to be throwing into our pot are our frozen peas. We have 2 cups of frozen peas here. You could always use fresh peas if you prefer fresh, or if you already have frozen peas in your freezer, that's a great thing too. So these are ready to go. We'll just throw those right in there. So as you can see, lots of green in this spring salad. There we go. You do want to make sure that your water stays on high. So once this regains its simmer, it'll be in there for about another 30 seconds, and we'll let it do its thing. So we'll clear our space a little bit here and get ready for the rest of our salad. So while our vegetables are boiling and getting nice and cooked, we will prepare our romaine lettuce. The recipe for this does call for baby romaine. If you can't find baby romaine in the grocery store, regular romaine is fine, or really any greens, leafy greens that you can find in the store. So if you prefer even just iceberg lettuce, that would be great too. Or if you would rather have something like cabbage, chopping that up or shredding it up would be a great addition too. So since the tops of our romaine are a little green and not too appealing looking, we are just gonna chop off the top of it and discard those. And then we're also just going to get rid of this bulb at the end. Nobody really wants to eat that on their salad. And we'll bring over our serving plate so that way that is nice and ready to go. So for this, it really depends on how big you want your lettuce pieces to be. If you would rather it be a little more dainty, you could always slice them down the middle, but we're just gonna cut it right into halves here. And to make it go even faster, you can grab just a handful. And what makes this salad nice is that everything kind of just is thrown together pretty quickly. Doesn't need a lot of prep. And of course, I should say, you do want to wash your vegetables before getting this going. So the peas and our asparagus don't necessarily need to be washed because they are going to be boiled. I do recommend that you do that though, but for our romaine lettuce, you definitely want to give those a nice wash. So we'll assort our romaine lettuce here. And then our other vegetables should be ready to go. Time flies in this recipe and nice and quick, which is great when you have other items maybe that you're already prepping, like grilled chicken or your salmon, or maybe some other sort of carbohydrate like rice or pasta that you're making. So our lettuce is ready to go. And it looks like our vegetables in here are ready to go as well. As you can see, our peas have gotten a nice vibrant green. That's from again, those nutrients that we were discussing earlier. Those vibrant colors are a good indication that your fruits and vegetables are filled with those vitamins and nutrients that you need for good health. So we'll get this stuff out of the way. And we're just gonna take it off of the burner, bring it a little bit closer to me. And to make this really simple, we have an ice bath here. So like I said earlier, we're gonna be stopping the cooking process. We don't want them to be mushy or anything like that. So we're going to leave our regular peas in the pot and just take out our asparagus and our snow peas. Let those sit. And if a few of our little peas get in there, that's perfectly okay. We are going to be draining this pot and running those under cold water in our sink. And blanching is really nice. If you're someone who is on a time crunch, it's a nice way to cook your vegetables a little bit faster. Like if you're going to be roasting them on or sauteing them on the stovetop, like potatoes or things like that, it makes the cooking process a little bit faster in that sense. So we almost have all of our asparagus and our snow peas. I think too, if you can't find snow peas, that snap peas would be perfectly fine too. They're just a little bit thicker than our snow peas. So we're gonna let those cool off. And then I'm going to take my pot and just drain out this water in the sink. All right, so we have all of our peas in the sink, and I'm just gonna run cold water over them. And let them cool off. From here, you could also throw these into your ice bath, which I'm going to do. Hopefully the water doesn't overfill. We're getting to a full point here. But just to speed up the process a little bit. So let those cool down a little bit. And then we're going to be nice and slow here, and we're going to drain the water here. And you want to make sure that you get all the water out of your vegetables. You will need a second to let them dry off. So we're going to grab an additional plate, a nice big plate here. And grab our paper towels. And we're going to just try to dry off our vegetables as much as possible, because if we don't, our salad dressing won't stick to our vegetables, which is what we don't want. So we're going to just transfer a few of them, because that will make it a little bit easier rather than doing all of them all at once, especially our asparagus, our bigger pieces of vegetables. So we'll take out all of our bigger guys and then let the peas kind of sit in there, and then I'll take another paper towel and try to blotch them dry. But look how bright and green our vegetables are. I don't know about you, but it makes me really happy. Green is my favorite color, so as a dietitian, I like to see a lot of green, or just color in general, on people's plates. So the more color, the better, the more nutrients or vitamins that you're getting in your diet. We always want to have variety too. So we're giving our vegetables a quick pat here. Again, trying to get them as dry as possible. If you have a salad spinner at home, you could always throw it into there. Just want to be kind of careful, because it will, if you had cooked them a little too long, they will fall apart. So we're just giving it a good pat. All right, we'll move that over to the side. We're gonna let them air dry just for a little bit, and we're gonna get started on our salad dressing. And then we have a little bit more prep with our vegetables, with slicing up our asparagus. So we'll get into that shortly. Giving those a good pat. So we'll move that off to the side, and we'll get started on our salad dressing. So we have our cutting board here, and the salad dressing is very easy. Again, just a few simple ingredients that we're throwing together. So you need just one lemon, and we're gonna cut it in half. Remove any seeds. No one likes that in their salad dressing. And if you have one of those handheld juicer press at home, that would be a good way, but here we're just gonna use our hands. So the recipe calls for about 2 tablespoons or about 30 milliliters of lemon juice, but we're gonna just use about half of our lemon. I like a lot of lemon, so if you want even more of that lemon flavor, you could always use an entire lemon. But that's too where taste testing as you're going comes really in hand here. And depends on how ripe your lemon is. If you notice, sometimes some lemons are juicier than others. So I'm gonna use both because that really didn't give us too much. So I'm gonna use a whole lemon for ours. And I'm going to cut my hand just to catch any of those seeds, just to avoid having those in our dressing. All right. And the recipe calls for about 6 tablespoons of olive oil. Now I'm using extra virgin olive oil. There's a few different kinds out there that are meant for marinating or salad dressings, but really it's up to your preference. The flavor profile is a little different for all of them. So I'll give just a little bit more. All right. And then our final 2 ingredients for our salad dressing is just some salt and pepper. So again, kind of just eyeballing it here, but the recipe does call for about 1/4 teaspoon of both. So we'll just grab a fork and give this a quick whisk. If you wanted to make this salad dressing even more tangy, you could just add some Dijon mustard. That's a really great ingredient to add to any basic salad dressing that you may be making at home. But as you can see, we have a nice yellow color here for our salad dressing. And we are going to add just a little bit of lemon peel. So if you have a zester at home, like a little handheld grater, that is great. We don't have it here, so we're just going to slice a little bit of our lemon peel. So we have a couple here, and then you can just finely chop your lemon peel and add that right to it. If you wanted to, you could also leave it out, but the lemon zest does give it a nice extra flavoring if you really like lemon, which I do. And the lemon will be good because it'll break up all that, the fibrous like textures or taste of this salad, making it nice and fresh. All right, so we'll just pinch that into our salad dressing and give that a nice little whisk here, and that should be ready to go. And then we'll get this cleaned up a little bit. And I'm just checking in on those peas, again, making sure that any ice is out of our drainer. And I'm just gonna pat those a little bit more too to get all that extra water out of there. So again, you wanna try to get this as dry as possible so that the dressing can adhere to our vegetables. All right, so from here, now we're just going to make our salad. We're going to assemble it a little bit, and we're gonna make it look a little bit fancier, if you will. I don't know if I would want big pieces of asparagus in my salad, so we're just going to slice up the asparagus just a little bit so you have some nice bite size. So you can take your asparagus spheres and just kind of cut them at an angle So that way you get some nice angled pieces of your asparagus. And we'll just place those right on top. Get those out of the way. Make some room. And we're going to quickly do that with all of our asparagus here. And again, if it's not super, super dry, that's okay. If you have more time, you can let this sit out and get nice and dry at home when you're making this. So we're just going to give these a little cut across, make it look a little bit fancier, and add these to our salad. And this is where the romaine comes in nicely because it acts like a little vessel for our other vegetables. All right, we'll add a couple more. And then we'll grab a few of our snow peas, add those on top. And too, when you're doing this at home, you could always layer the salad a little bit differently. So if you want a couple of your snow peas on the bottom and then add from there with the romaine, that's always an option. And too, it depends on what kind of serving bowl you're using. So we have our snow peas on there. And now we're just gonna add some of our regular green peas right on top. And these are kind of nice to add at the end. As you can see, they do roll right off, but again, the romaine lettuce will add as a little boat for your vegetables. And if you put this in a nice round bowl, serving bowl, you won't run into that issue of losing a couple when you're setting up. So we have our peas on there. And now we'll add a little bit of our mint. If you're not really a mint person, that's okay. You can leave this out, but I think the mint will add, again, a nice layer of freshness to our salad. So for this, we're going to just chop off about a little bit from the top here. And really, it depends on how much mint you like. Not everyone's a big mint fan, so you can always just add a little bit less, but we're going to just bunch it up and then just do a rough chop with our knife. And mint is great, it's so aromatic. And just adds a nice touch to it. So we'll just garnish on top with our mint. Again, see a lot of green in this salad. All right, and we'll move this off to the side. And then we'll just drizzle with our dressing. And then the final piece is my favorite piece, will be the goat cheese. So we have here about 3 ounces of our goat cheese. And if you don't like goat cheese, you could always use feta cheese or maybe like a smoky Gouda, but I prefer the creamy cheese. So we are just going to break it up a little bit in our bowl. If you wanted to, you could always buy crumbled goat cheese. But buying it by the block like this tends to be a little bit cheaper. So if you are on a budget, this might be a good option for you. It is a little messy, but that's okay. So we're just going to place a couple of pieces here and there. Again, trying to make it look cute as possible. This is where the crumbled goat cheese would come in handy because it's already crumbled for you. You're not going to make a mess with your hands. But a block of goat cheese will save you probably about $2 rather than buying it already crumbled for you. You could also use blue cheese for this if you like it to be even more tangy. That would be good too. All right, we're gonna add just a little bit more, and then our salad will be complete. So there you have it. If you would like more salad dressing, you would be able to mix it up and add more at this time, or you can always keep your salad dressing on the side and serve it when you're ready to eat. But there we have it, our spring salad that's gonna be perfect for any barbecue or a nice addition to your weekend dinner. So for more videos like this, please check out our YouTube channel, Cooking Healthy with Coastline. There we have a lot of other nice, nutritious, and healthy recipes. Thank you for tuning in today.